are officially on lunch with me today, so bear with me. The Lord has had so much to say today, and in between counseling clients, I have just been writing things down and trying to remember them. Oh, it's I don't know, we have days like this, and I want to read you something so I can give you this word, because what I always tell you, that a word is kind of worthless without the word. And the Lord led me to the space in John where this is what is said about Lazarus. And it says, "Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When therefore he heard he was sick, he stayed 2 days in the place where he was." Now that kind of seems like an oxymoron, or like, why would you do that? I'm sorry, but if I'm like going downhill somewhere and my friend ain't showing up, I'm gonna have feelings about it. But in the midst of this right here, we know to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So what does living really look like to us, and what is death really to us? And that's not the message, that's just something to ponder. Sometimes there's an assignment and there's a stop along the way. The assignment was Lazarus, but there was a stop along the way. And whatever you're doing right now, there is favor on the assignment and there's favor on the stop. There's favor on this little side venture that you're taking. There's favor in the movement that you're making. There's favor in it even though it looks to other people like it don't make sense. There's favor in it. When I make moves that nobody else understands and I know that the Lord is sending me, I may not know yet, but I will find out. I will find out when I get there. And you are the same way. There is favor on the movement of God in your life right now that seems assagent to the assignment. It doesn't mean that it's not connected to the assignment. It simply means it's assagent. It's a stop along the way. Keep trusting in the Lord and keep following where He leads you, and know that we never would have had the story of Lazarus quite so beautiful if He hadn't made a stop. Sometimes we got to make a stop for the full glory of God to be revealed. Sometimes we got to go assagent, just outside. I think about Paul. I think about the church of Corinth, and I think about how strategic Paul was. Well, Athens is still like right down the road, right? And Athens is worshiping all these gods and goddesses, and this is the reason that the church of Corinth is such a disaster, babe. Because all they know is all of the things that they've been taught that are worship to a God that is unholy to our God, that are unsafe to our God. And Paul was so strategic to place Corinth right before you got to Athens, because he was going to try to convert you even before you got there. And even then, some people that were coming from Athens would come to see Paul because Paul had made a name for himself. Think about Paul's stop on the road to Damascus, right? I think about Paul. I think about Paul and Barnabas when they got to separate. There's so many stops along the way to the greatness. But if you're faithful to take the assagent spots that people don't understand, I bet people were like, why would you put a church at Corinth? Don't you know that right down the road they're doing all this stuff? Don't you know that right down the road? Paul's like, yeah, I'm fully aware of that. God is strategic, and His favor is on the strategy He's given you. Not Sam or Sally or whoever else has an opinion, because everybody's got one. But on the assignment and the assagent stops that God gave you. Be confident in the Lord and go forward in what He told you to do, even when it don't make sense. Because it not making sense and being confused are two different things. I'm never confused when God tells me to do something that don't make sense. I'm just perplexed. I may not understand, but I get that it's Him, and I know that He's going to do something. Very different things. The Lord's favor is on this little stop that you're making before the assignment at the finish line. And you just got to know that the Lord is with you always, even until the very